Hi, I'm Jennifer. Today we're going to talk about displacement. We'll discuss what it is, what it isn't, how to recognize it, and how to manage it. So, what even is displacement anyway? Displacement is defined as taking one's negative emotions out on someone or something else less threatening than you. What displacement is? Displacement is a defense mechanism. A defense mechanism is an unconscious strategy people use to cope with difficult emotions. Unlike coping mechanisms that are conscious, defense mechanisms present in an unconscious way. Defense mechanisms are the mind's unconscious attempt to diminish anxiety and restore emotional balance. What displacement is not? Denial. Denial is refusing to admit or accept something that is occurring or has occurred. Intellectualization. Intellectualization is thinking about something from a cold and objective perspective to avoid focusing on the stressful or emotional part of the situation. Projection. Projection is taking your own uncomfortable feelings and attaching them to someone else so that it seems as though that person is feeling that way in place of you. Rationalization. Rationalization, while avoiding the actual reason for a feeling or behavior, a person will create credible but false justifications. And this one is really tricky because it always makes you right and the other person wrong, regardless of how the situation really is. Reaction formation. Reaction formation is behaving in the opposite way to avoid one's true feelings. Have you ever heard somebody say, "I'm fine"? You need to watch out for the F word because fine rarely ever means fine. So make sure that you have a definition of fine in the subjective scenario when it comes up. Regression. Regression is reverting back to childlike behavior. Anna Freud claimed that a person would act out certain behaviors based on the stage of psychosexual development that they were fixated on. For example, a person stuck in the oral stage might begin to eat or smoke obsessively or become more verbally aggressive. Repression. Repression is moving thoughts that make us uncomfortable into our subconscious. Sublimation. Sublimation is converting unacceptable behaviors into a more acceptable form. And a note on sublimation is that, for example, a person with rage takes up a boxing hobby. And a note on sublimation is it can be a form of displacement when it's unconscious, because remember, displacement and coping mechanisms or defense mechanisms are always unconscious. How it works. Displacement usually involves a perceived power differential. During displacement, feelings are expressed indirectly. Imagine you were unfairly criticized by your boss. You know that it's unacceptable to confront them. Instead, you berate your roommate when you get home when they didn't unload the dishwasher. Thus, your anger becomes projected onto a less assuming target. Examples. You are working as a barista, and a customer who's having a tough day explodes on you because the extra caramel frappuccino they ordered did not have enough caramel. This has personally happened to me. If this happens to you, it's not your fault. And another real life example. Baseball player Joe DiMaggio marries renowned actress Marilyn Monroe. He is livid after learning about her staged photo shoot wherein she walks across a vent on a public street that blows a breeze up her dress, which intimately exposes her to the public. The photo shoot was orchestrated by movie producers and Marilyn Monroe's manager to promote her upcoming film. DiMaggio cannot negotiate with her producers or managers, nor does he have any control over who sees the photo. A photo that would live forever in infamy. He expresses his frustration in the form of domestic violence. They divorce a couple months later, despite the claim that he truly loved her. What examples from your own life can you think of where somebody may have been displacing onto you? Have you ever been guilty yourself of displacing onto somebody else? So how do we manage displacement? One way to manage displacement is with reflection. Reflection involves the acknowledgement of one's owned or disowned feelings. It's when the unconscious feelings or behavior become conscious by taking accountability. Example, back to Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio. If Joe DiMaggio tells Marilyn Monroe how jealous he is, how he feels like he doesn't have any control over who else sees the photo, or who else sees her, and he expresses his wish for her not to participate in the photo shoot. Additionally, he may have to accept the fact that she was under contract to do this. It was not her choice. That's her job. And I think that if he was able to accept that, it would have been a really beautiful example of displacement. Or sorry, reflecting. Another way to manage displacement is reframing. Reframing involves taking control and redirecting your feelings in a more appropriate way, such as journaling, sports, fitness, hobbies, creativity, meditation, and therapy. Example, back to Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe again. Joe DiMaggio takes his anger out during baseball practice by hitting the ball as hard as he can. Do you remember what type of displacement this is an example of? If you said sublimation, you're right. But it's only displacement when it's unconscious. And so when it becomes conscious, it goes from sublimation to reframing. Now we're gonna do an activity. We're gonna watch The Addams Family. We're gonna watch a clip from it where a fraud poses as a psychologist and attempts to convince the main character that he's guilty of displacement in order to gain access to the family fortune. After learning how to recognize displacement, do you think that the imposter does a good job of explaining what displacement is? Or do you think she's missing something? So let's take a look. Hold on, excuse this ad.
Mutual life savings for all. Mary had a little something. A faker, a phony, an utter fraud, a base, deceitful.
Mr. Adams. I believe I'm understanding. I can help. Yes. The theory of displacement. Is this familiar?
No, Tish?
Oh, it is too exciting. I will explain.
Is it unpleasant?
Deeply. Your very own brother, you drive him away. Go, off with you. But then you are feeling the little black monster.
Pugsley.
Guilt. Yes? Your brother returns, you feel guilty, you displace.
I do?
The feelings in your brain cells, they bubble and collide. You suspect things. You love him, but you resent him. Love, hate, hate, love. Like for mama, no.
But I didn't hate my mother. It was an accident.
It's a very common psychosis. I'm seeing it every day. Lucky doctor.
Displacement. How bizarre. And here I thought Fester was the problem. He's sullen.
He's furtive.
Backstabbing.
He sulks.
I suspect him.
You're unbalanced.
And I hate him. By God, you're right. He is Fester.
Thank you, Dr. Pinterschloss.
I do what I can.
A faker.
So what did you guys think? Did you think that she was pretty convincing and that she knew what she was talking about? Or do you think maybe she was making stuff up? And why or why not? What led you to come to that conclusion? In conclusion, displacement is an ordinary defense mechanism for negative emotions that can be converted, that can be corrected by reflecting and reframing. For more information on displacement, please see the attached link for a peer-reviewed journal article. My name is Jennifer, and I hope you enjoyed today's video.